Today I'm going to talk to you about something that I think is one of the most underused strategies that us business people have. But before I get there, I do want to, going back. Wait. Wait. I know, look at that. See, I took up no time. Wait, how do I get to the beginning of this? Sorry. Yes, it goes back, right? Thank you.
You started over.
Thank you so much. All right, so before we begin, I do want you guys to please stand and give a standing ovation to our organizers, our exhibitors, our moderators. Please give them a round of applause for organizing this wonderful event that we are experiencing today. So the basis of my talk today is really around strategic partnerships, and today's event is such a symbol of that. But before I begin, I would like to tell you a story about why it is I'm the best person, or not maybe, to talk about this topic today. So in 2011, I became a mother for the first time, and I was excited by this beautiful baby girl and decided that my full-time job was going to take up too much of my time. So what did I do? I started a business. How many business owners here? We know that does not take up less time than a full-time job, right? So I started a business because I thought, I wanted my baby girl to be in these lovely baby shoes. So I bought a franchise from France that was selling soft-soled shoes. I quickly learned that I could not expand or run this business because I simply did not have the time or strategic partnerships to help me scale as I wanted to. So by the time she was 3, I lost interest in this business. And then a few years later, I had another baby, which is this little beautiful baby boy, Ethan, which, by the way, today is his birthday. So I am not being a very good mommy by being here today. So he's 7 today. But again, having another baby, sleepless nights, don't know what to do at 2 o'clock in the morning. So what did I do? I started another business. But this time I learned from my first business, right? I said, no more products, I'm going into service business. So I started an agency, which was a Hubspot service-based agency in Israel. In a matter of 5 years, we became one of HubSpot's top-tiered partners. We were a diamond partner, and I had 26 employees. But again, I wanted to scale beyond Israel. So one of the things I started doing is collaborating with other agencies abroad, looking for different partners, and even looking for different service partners that could implement the system for me internationally. And then in 2021, I wrote a book about HubSpot, one of their first books on how to implement HubSpot better. So in case you did not want to hire one of us expensive agencies, you could have just bought my book for $34 on Amazon and then implement it yourself. But after a while, I realized entrepreneurship gave me no time with my family and kids. So a beautiful opportunity came with HubSpot, and I joined them in 2022. So today, I am helping HubSpot scale their services to partners, and this is what I want to speak to you today about. So we're going to cover 3 things in my short presentation today. Why do partner programs work in the first place, and why you should consider them even as a small business, even as a sometimes we think these partner programs are for bigger businesses like Amazon, Microsoft, HubSpot, but today I will give you some tactics to start to consider how you can implement them for your business, regardless of its size. Secondly, I will show you how to leverage these partnerships so you can get that maximum impact from your partner network. And lastly, I will make sure you have 3 KPIs that you can go to your business on Monday morning to check to make sure that if this is worth a strategy for you to implement within your businesses. So why do partner programs work? So we just heard from our friends here talking about Amazon. They are our favorite frenemy, right? We love them because they're so efficient, but we hate them because we don't own stock. So we're going to look at why it is Amazon is such a successful business on a different side when it comes to partnerships. I think the first thing we have to think about, most of us probably have Audible. Many of us listen to books. But have you ever thought about how did you get that Audible app? Amazon did not place an ad and billboards all over the world begging you to download Audible. What strategy they used was to get people who wrote books or influencers who were talking about good advice or podcasters to tell you about these amazing books that you can just listen to on the way to work in your car or listen to while you are doing your chores in your house. And this is what kind of encouraged you to download that app. So Amazon is very, very good at looking at how they can use strategic partnerships as well as their alliances with influencers to get you to purchase their product. So I want to help you understand how you can leverage this now for having maximum impact in your business. My first recommendation to you would be to implement a mandatory onboarding service in your business. Some of you today are mostly digital agencies, or you're running some type of service-based agency, whether it's a SaaS company, etc. And the one thing I realize is that we do not always make onboarding mandatory. This is something Hubspot and most SaaS companies have as part of their system, where you cannot buy the product without purchasing onboarding. So when you consider your customer's journey, you will know that your customers get sticky because of that onboarding experience. But there's one mistake I continue seeing businesses make while they do try to copy the HubSpot partner strategy and implement onboarding as a mandatory service. And the mistake that they make is that they build these onboarding services using internal teams only. Now, I'm here to share with you that in the beginning, this might be the most practical solution. But as you have experienced in the last 2 to 3 years, businesses eventually go through difficult times. And service-based businesses especially, doing onboarding or any type of extra services within your company leads to a lost leader eventually. So the best way to implement this onboarding service is to use your partner channel network. You should be leading on your partners to implement this onboarding services. So you can begin to outsource these services even as a digital agency. Because when I had my HubSpot agency, I would have a small team in Kenya, or I would have a small team in India that is lower than the cost of hiring someone in Israel to actually deliver those services. So you have to consider, where can I actually implement these and outsource this type of work to a network that can help me implement these services for my customers. But I do want you to remember that you have to think of building your partner network, so any collaboration, in baby steps. You cannot wait for your business to be mature and you wait until it's like 17 years, because as our teenagers show us, when they reach 17 years, it's difficult to get them to change or do anything impossible. So you have to think of implementing these types of networks when your business is at relatively young stages, so you can get these partners to work within your systems and adopt the mentality and the values that you would like your customers to receive. And my last recommendation to you is about how do you effectively make this partner network or partner relationship work, is by building specific measures of success and usage into your products. So 3 measures of success I would suggest you implement would be around activation, usage, and renewals or growth. So activation is one of those metrics that you can check within the first, let's say, 90 days of purchasing your product. So once you see your customers using your product to a certain level within those first 90 days, the likelihood that they will stay with you as a customer is much higher. Usage, however, you're going to look at the period of time over a specific period that that customer is using the product over and over. So every month you want to make sure they're using 1 or 2 features within your product. Again, that shows that they are going to be sticky. And last but not least is, of course, renewals. You don't just want the customer to renew, but you do want to see them grow at that renewal date. So you do want to make sure that they are purchasing other features or upgrading or doing something more with your product rather than just renewing the product at the time. So as I wrap up, I would just like to share with you 3 key takeaways on how to improve your bottom line. First, invest in your partner program, not tomorrow, not 10 years, but today. So you go to your office on Monday and you think, how can I build that network? How can I figure out, how can I start something small to get my customers using more of my product? Secondly, think about making your onboarding compulsory, but of course, outsource those services as soon as you can. And thirdly, set these KPIs so you can continue measuring the success of your partner network and, more importantly, how your customers are using your product. So thank you. And if you would like to connect with me on LinkedIn or email me, feel free, and I'm happy to have these conversations with you further. Thank you.
Let's see if there's a question.
Questions. Not in Greek, okay? Promise me you're not going to make me suffer.
Why suffer? For questions, I think you
In Greek, I would never be able to answer them.
In Greek, I will translate. Don't worry about it. I will translate about it. Υπάρχει κάποια ερώτηση? You will be around though, right?
Yes, I will be.
You will be.
But I do have a favor to ask you. You have to wish my son Ethan happy birthday.
Happy
so
birthday.
I will be there. So I have to get a video of this, okay, guys?
Okay.
So you have to shout out, happy birthday to Ethan in Greek.
In Greek? You want that in Greek?
Yes, so he will
Χρόνια πολλά στο... You said Ethan, right?
Ethan, okay. Yes.
Okay. 1, 2, 3. Χρόνια πολλά στον Ethan.
Wow, thank you. Happy birthday, Ethan.
Okay, that was nice.